Forever. Dog.
The house was evil. This week on the podcast, R.L. Stine's 99 Fear Street, The House of Evil.
Welcome to Teen Creeps, the podcast that discusses YA pulp fiction. I'm one of your hosts, Lindsay Kaitai.
I'm another one of your hosts, Callie Nugent.
And this week we are discussing R.L. Stine's 99 Fear Street trilogy, first, second, and third evils. And we have a guest for this podcast. You may know him from UCB's Mod Night on the team Summer of. You may know him from his very popular podcast The Ride, and various comedy things on the internet, such as you could watch his commercial with Chris Pratt that aired during the Super Bowl.
Drink some refreshing Michelob Ultra.
Yeah, It's Jason Sheridan.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, thank you
Thanks
so
for
much for
joining
doing the
us.
show.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for reading 3 books. 1, 2, 3.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It took me a while because I'm a slow reader.
Forever.
Yes, I have technically
Like a
now
year
read
ago, yeah.
the first, and it's not to come in and just start correcting, but it's the first through third horror. Not evil.
Horror.
But
I
the
was
house
thinking
is
of-
evil.
I was thinking of cheerleaders.
Right, the first evil.
That's how the
Oh,
cheerleaders
yeah.
series
Mhm.
is named.
But we have horrors.
Horrors.
Horror upon
Horrors.
horrors.
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
Mostly goo and rats. Those are
Yes.
the main
So
horrors.
So many
So
rats.
much goo. Oh,
So-
and hands in garbage disposals.
Hands and garbage disposals, yeah.
The
RL
first-
couldn't get enough of the hands in the garbage disposals.
No,
Yeah.
had to do it twice. Which
What?
one was your favorite?
Second, maybe first.
Jason?
Wow,
Third?
second.
I don't know.
Um,
I read them all in a flurry during a heat wave. So
Oh, okay. So I first read books 1 and 2 when I was like 11 or 10. Like these
Nice.
were actually ones I read as a kid. And then for whatever reason, just never found the third one.
that's how it was back then. You couldn't order things online.
Yeah.
You had to find them.
But it's weird because my family, like, we went to the Jersey Shore a lot. And there's a lot of used bookstores where you just turn in books after you've read them for credit. Not me. I was a weird collecting kid, so I would just read books and then they go on the shelf and then you just have a nice, which is a bad habit I've kept up. Now I just have an absurd amount of books I will never read.
Yeah.
So, I think it's the first one. I think the first one is probably the best of like as a haunted house story.
I agree.
I think the second one is the weakest, and the third
Yeah.
one is just batshit insane.
Yeah.
The metaphor I think of these 3 as is the Super Mario, the original Nintendo Marios. So like 3 was a more spiritual sequel to 1, and number 2 was like a different game in Japan, and they just made it Mario when they brought it to
So 2, because 2
with Brant.
with Brant. Oh my God. I got to tell you,
Brant.
did not like Brant. Was not sold
No.
on Brant. Also, it's so funny how RL writes for girls versus boys.
Oh my God, yes.
And Brant just been like, oh, I mean, I can't believe that. All these girls just falling all over me. And like RL's probably like, yeah, boys will love that.
And girls just fight over boys.
All girls do is fight
That's
over
all they're
boys. Or
interested
they
in.
cook. Or they cook.
Or they cook. That was more of a Pike thing.
Right. But girls are cooking in this. Spaghetti. She
Oh,
makes
true.
spaghetti.
Yeah, they make that
And
fucking
spaghetti comes in, the one with it's in the cat gets cooked in the spaghetti.
Oh my God.
Which one was that?
Dead girlfriend, dead boyfriend, dead
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because I remember, because that was the one where the cat was cooking and then no one noticed the cat was being boiled. And my main concern is how did not anyone smell that?
Yeah.
Boiling
That's what-
meat
yeah,
smells terrible.
That was the discussion
Oh, yeah, it's
on
bad.
the podcast.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
No, it's not. So you said that you read the first two
Read the
when
first
you were
two.
11.
Yes.
When did
So
you read
that
the
means
third?
you have a history with these kinds of books. When was that the first kind? What am I trying to say? You read these books as a kid.
Yes, I read
Was
a
that
lot
your
of R.L.
intro?
Stine as a kid. I read all of the Goosebumps, like the original Goosebumps, except I was trying to find, I think it's called How I Learned to Fly. It's another one where it's just like, I just
Whoa.
never got that one. But like I read them all, probably because at the same time I was starting to buy like comics every month, and the appeal of a monthly book, like it just made sense to me.
Yeah.
And my parents, my grandparents too, everyone with big readers in my family. And I think like too, they're like, all right, well, there's, you don't get every toy you want because you need to learn restraint. But when it was books, hey, that's reading,
Yeah.
and reading is fundamental.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not thinking about it. Like my parents, like whatever books I wanted, they would try and help me find them.
I
Yeah.
think that's a good rule.
I think so too.
personally,
If a kid
yeah.
likes to read, let him read.
Yeah.
A little more conflicted with comics, though. Like there was some of that with comic, but still,
Yeah.
but it was also probably
Yeah.
because it was just hyper violent trash. The
Yeah.
comics of the 90s were not the most thoughtful by and
Yeah.
large.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So when did you first start reading Goosebumps?
I think I have a very specific memory of my mom, like when I was either, finishing second or third grade, they would get me a little like gift every year at the end of the school year, and it was a stack of Goosebumps books. And I just remember sitting on my bed and going like, oh, wow. Something happens at the
All
end of
these
every
cliffhangers.
chapter. All these cliffhangers.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Speaking of those cliffhangers, so 2 things about this trilogy. One, this is doing the thing that we've wanted him to do a lot, which is commit to supernatural
And kill people.
and kill people.
Yeah.
He kills people.
Does it?
And a lot of times I kept thinking like, oh, and like he pulled his hand out of the garbage disposal, and
it
then
was
it would,
fine.
and then it would like next chapter. I was afraid it would be like, and he laughed because he's such a prankster and like whatever.
Yeah.
But it was like, and then the blood kept coming out,
Yeah,
and his
and it
fingers
was
were
everywhere.
off, and I was like,
Yeah.
damn, what the shit? This is crazy.
Yeah. When I said the main horrors were goo and garbage disposals, there's also the horrors of like death and blood, pools and pools of blood.
Pools and
Like
And
there's some
blindness
gruesome.
And getting trapped in a void dimension within the house like poltergeist.
Yes.
only to be found
That
years
was the
later
scariest
as a little
The
corpse.
child.
One to me. Yeah. Is
the only
little
child.
brother James
Yeah.
and little
Cubby.
puppy Cubby.
Too many,
I'm
two animal
so
deaths.
glad
not
there
happy.
was not an animal death
In
in the
third?
third one.
Cubby and Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Pour
Just
one out.
Hollywood people, the real
Yeah, fuck
animals.
them.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
They're real ants.
The thing is, the third one was so, and so Scream was probably, when do we think Scream? Because it
Was it
felt a very
98,
like
99?
Screamish thing to be like, well, now we're doing a movie about the thing
Oh.
that originally.
Good.
I was like, where
call.
is
Yeah.
our girl Nev
look
Campbell?
that
Oh, good.
up.
Yeah.
Because it was
That is
feeling
interesting.
so
That is super-
Scream 3. Is that the one where they make the movie?
This is 94. This
Does
is
that predate?
pre-Scream.
Predates.
Wow.
By a good
So
like,
Scream,
few years.
yeah. Oh yeah,
like
this would
maybe
be
5 years.
yeah, because Scream 1 is not about movies, but then what is it like 3 where they're like, we're gonna make a movie about the
I
thing
think it's
that
the
happened.
second one, maybe.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Yeah. Oh, because Courtney Cox wrote a book about what happened.
Yes, and then they made a new movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we try and like
Break it down.
Break it down.
We can give super, super basic.
Should we do it? No commentary. No commentary. No commentary.
Oh, what if there's a lot to
There's too much.
do?
Oh.
I don't think we could go beat
we
by beat
going
on these books.
Chronologically, book by book.
I'll
is
just
that?
So I'll do what I'm thinking is like the only thing I think we need to do to lay it all out at once.
Yeah.
And then we can
Okay.
get into it book by book.
Great.
Book 1 is about twin sisters, Callie and Cody, and their parents and their little brother, James. They move into 99 Fear Street. They get the house from a guy named Mr. Lurie. And it turns out it's evil because Simon and Angelica Fear buried all the bodies of the people they tortured. And then they built a house on top of it. And deaths happen. Eventually, Callie gets taken, dies, and she's then an evil ghost in the house. Book 2 is a teen boy named Brant, and his parents move in. They've been living on the island of Mapolo.
Oh god.
Yes, Mapolo.
Mapolo.
Yeah. Okay, I forgot about this.
Well,
and there's
no
a lot
commentary,
of,
no
I'm
commentary,
sorry,
no commentary.
I'm so sorry. No commentary, no commentary.
And they move in, and he's got like 3 chicks after him. We've got Abby, we've got Ginny, and we've got Meg. And it turns out Abby is the ghost of Callie, who's trying to get him to stay with her forever. But very surprise twist at the end. Turns out Brant's fucking dead.
Yeah.
He died, and their parents went and saw like a witch doctor.
Yeah, no commentary. These white people went to go see these like native people that did some kind of voodoo magic.
Yeah. So like fill in
no
the commentary.
No commentary.
No commentary.
A drifter's life force and put it in Brant's body.
Yeah. So,
and Brant
like,
is
Brant's
technically
soul
a zombie.
Was still there.
Yeah.
His soul,
also,
and he had to wear like
a
hair and
hair
like
and nails.
toenails of the guy around his
which like,
neck.
ew, I'd rather be dead.
So anyway, like the life.
Okay, no commentary.
No commentary. So the ghost of the drifter comes, and he's like, bitch, give me my life force back, takes his hair and nails back, and then Brant immediately rots to death in front of Callie, and Callie's like, motherfuck. Third book happens.
Yes.
Cody is back to make a movie about what happened in the first book.
No commentary. She is playing her dead sister
She's
in a
playing
movie.
Callie.
No commentary.
An actress named Persia is playing Cody, and she's super pissed about it. Cody's having a little relation with the guy playing Kelly's love interest in the first book, whose hand gets torn apart by Anthony.
Yeah.
Hand got torn apart by the garbage disposal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also first book, you should know that their little brother James and his puppy Cubby got trapped in a void dimension within the house. They could hear them talking, but they couldn't find them. In the second book, Brant finds James and Cubby's skeletons in the walls. That's super creepy. So back to the third book. All these accidents are happening. Goes to Callie, fucking shit up. Then all of a sudden, Cody's like, oh, wait, you were getting controlled by the housekeeper, Mrs. Nordstrom, who always showed up, and the
rat
handyman.
Jenkins?
Handyman,
Jerkins?
Mr.
Hankins.
And the real estate agent,
Laurie.
Mr. Lurie. And as soon as Cody tells Callie that, Callie's like, oh, I totally see it. Run. The explosives from the movie set blow up, and the house blows up, and everybody's safe. And those are the 3 books. And so now we can jump around and talk about the first book.
Okay. So the first book. Here's my big thing about the first book.
Yes.
The first book is predicated on a ghost committing massive real estate fraud.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he sells it.
Well, all 3 of the books.
He's constantly selling that house.
Jason Laurie is constantly selling the house. Well, is he renting it to the movie crew?
No,
First off, the movie stuff is
bananas,
but also some of it is very on point. But some of mostly it's crazy. But yeah, he sells it to Callie and Cody's father.
Callie.
Do you think it's Callie?
I think it's Callie.
100% think it's Callie. Cally.
The LL, I think it's the hard A.
Okay.
Callie.
Yeah, so he sells it to the father, and you're thinking, oh, well, they just moved in. Surely they could get their money back, but then they can't find this man. But you don't just, who is this family that just bought a house with a cashier's check?
Yes.
Sight unseen.
Also, they don't even have a mortgage.
Yeah,
they
don't have mortgage.
That was
There's
my
no
question.
bank.
There's no bank. Where's the bank
I know,
that they mortgaged the house through?
and
You don't just pay in cash.
That's the thing. So are we expected to believe that dad and mom paid full cash, free and clear? They own this house?
And I don't care if all your savings is gone. You still got at least one income coming in.
But what is
Move
it? We
back to
never
the city,
find out.
moving
Oh, yeah, what
to
do
an
mom and dad
apartment.
do?
We don't know what their mom and dad do. We know what
think
Brant's dad does.
Isn't there something about there's a college nearby? Oh, that's Brant's dad.
Brant's dad is studies rituals and artifacts.
Specifically,
and he believes in magic.
No, specifically, he studies ritual magic. It was like capital R, capital M.
Yeah,
ritual
magic, as though that is a field of study.
Yeah,
but after being in the field for years, He
on the island of Mapolo.
At Mapolo.
Mhm.
He takes a teaching job at a community college?
In Shady Side.
In Shady Side.
That's
Because
the thing.
it's like Mean Girls. They want him to have a high school experience.
It is. It is weird though that
With Katie.
he's been living in the bush for years, and his first job back is a community college job. You would think he would be at a university.
Yeah. And why is Brant so normal?
Brant,
I mean, by normal, I mean like American normal.
Yeah.
Brant
Why
also
is he so standard American normal?
passable at basketball despite
Yeah.
living
Yeah, he's all
living in
right.
the woods. Yeah.
And also, for some reason, as a dead person, he bruises easily,
But
Yeah.
heals quickly.
but he
He heals
doesn't have any
quickly.
blood.
I know. Well, I think he does, but it's just sitting, right? It's not moving.
I thought
Oh,
he was a
maybe that's why.
hemophiliac. I thought it was going to be revealed he
I
was
thought
a
he was a
hemophiliac.
hemophiliac.
I will say, just as the music in Mario Brothers 2 is
Mhm.
terrific, Book 2 had the best twist. Maybe the only twist, too.
It had the twist, yeah.
That
I-
Brant was dead all along.
I literally put the book down and was like, "What?"
I laughed
Yeah.
out loud.
Yeah,
I
it
was,
was-
like,
I
what?
was like, "He's dead already? Are you joking?" Also, it's so funny because the parents keep being like, "Well, your condition," and if we're
I
to,
knew that condition was going to be ridiculous.
but also like, he's immortal. He gets chopped in the head by a frickin' axe, and he's fine. So what are they talking about his condition? Just like, don't let anyone see your little necklace.
well, they were like, you have to be careful because you can't get injured. And that's going to raise suspicion.
Well,
Or
but he
because you
gets
can't
super
die.
injured.
But it heals.
but everyone is skeptical of ghosts except the kids. But Brant's family witnessed their child coming back from beyond the grave.
Yeah.
His father studies this. Why does the father not do a ritual to cleanse the house?
That's what I thought when we
It's a good
when we
question.
opened the book too, and they were like, "Oh, Brant's dad studies ritual magic." I was like, "Oh, cool. We'll see like a fight of magic." But we don't see that. Dad has no like.
They're not the ones able to do magic.
I know, but I
Yeah.
thought maybe he would know.
No.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I just
It
mean like,
sucks.
yeah, they're not the ones able to do magic.
Yeah.
Which it
Yeah.
makes it more boring.
What it means is that he instead has like a bunch of masks and spears and blow darts,
and
on his
Ezra
wall.
dies fucking immediately.
like page 3.
The cat.
One of the spears
Yeah.
falls through the cat, stabs it, it dies. And his parents act like, oh, well, it was old anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, do you
Time
want
to
a
get
new
that
one? And he's
spear up.
like,
Yeah.
I can hold off for a bit. And then when Cubby disappears, the Labrador puppy in book 1, when Cubby disappears and they just hear him howling,
yeah.
why aren't they all, like, James is the only one concerned that their puppy has gone missing, first of all. I was like,
Everyone
your
hates Cubby.
fucking
Yeah.
dog has gone missing. Why is James the only one having a normal human reaction?
Because the house was full chaos. I was laughing so hard during that part. The dog is screaming. The kids are screaming. The mom is like running around. Like both the girls are like, there's a ghost. Like everyone's screaming, running up and down the stairs. It was like ultimate chaos. I loved that part.
It was very funny.
Book 1, I think, is the one with the most substance. Like,
Yeah,
that
for
is
sure.
the one. I mean, the dynamic of the sisters.
Yeah, I think it's the most exciting one.
Yeah.
And this is the scariest for sure, too.
It is, yeah, and it is the scariest because we don't know anything about the house. Like once it's kind of cooking the series, you kind of know like the house is going to start ruining everyone's lives.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that first one,
I
like
would have liked it not to keep repeating the same things it always did.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
rats, goo, garbage disposal, spears.
Well,
it was
the
just like very
rats
repetitive.
Are
Oh, the
because
rats.
twist turns
didn't
out
understand that
the
at all.
housekeeper and the handyman and Mr. Lurie are rats.
So when
Which-
they get there,
but
like
I thought-
immediately, when they get there in the first book, this guy with a mustache shows up like immediately,
Mhm.
Mr. Hankins.
Hankins.
yeah.
And he's like, hey, I'm a handyman in town. Do you want me to come by and do you have anything that needs fixing? Keep me in mind. And they're like, you can fix things now.
Yeah.
And then this housekeeper shows up named Mrs. Nordstrom. And she's like, oh, do you need a housekeeper? I'm a housekeeper. They're like, great, we'll hire you now.
Yeah.
They show up again in book 2. In book 1 and book 2, never talks about them. They're just there. it doesn't go into like
It's
why
the
they
long
just
con.
show up. It is
It's the long, or not con, but planting seeds.
yeah, which is interesting, but the payoff is nil.
And
Because then
no
they're
one
just rats.
no one gets referrals either. They show up in book
Yeah.
3 too.
And no one's like, oh, can I talk to
no
some
one
previous
mentions
employers?
it. Yeah, and they have no contact info for them. They just show up and keep showing up. Yeah, I mean, book 1, book 1 really eases you in where it's like they're literally moving in, and one of the girls feels like she's been pushed and drops a box of plates and
Mhm.
breaks them. So it starts with like,
Callie.
yeah, Callie, it starts getting little stuff with that. Callie, who's got like, the world on a string. Callie's the hero.
Oh my God. Callie sucks so much.
Except Cody was annoying.
Cody is also
Very,
a bummer.
yeah.
But like, so the very
Callie
first.
did suck though.
Callie. The very first, so I'll just do the couple of things where I was like, Callie blows. First is like right when they get there. I think the street was named after one of the town's early settlers, Mrs. Fraser replied fretfully, still studying the road map. It was named after Mr. Street, Callie joked. She took pride in her sense of humor. She was always cracking jokes and making puns. It was one of the ways she differed from her twin. Cody was smart and quick, but she didn't have much of a sense of humor. And I was like, Callie, you're not funny. You will never be funny.
She's not that funny.
You have never lived within a mile of funny.
I was definitely white knuckling it during that line.
Yeah.
And I also highlighted that too.
Yeah.
I believe shortly thereafter, they eat a breakfast of cold cereal on a plate,
Yep.
which is one of the most unintentionally upsetting things I've ever read. Oh, we'll
It
go to
was
the
really-
grocery store later.
I
Eat the
know.
cereal on a plate.
Also, cold cereal is. Do they mean as opposed to oatmeal?
As opposed to hot cereal, which is what
which is
some
basically oatmeal.
old people call
I
oatmeal.
think it's a lot
right?
more common.
I've heard old people call
like-
oatmeal cereal.
Hot cereal.
Yeah.
And then, I think it got called cold cereal probably up until like the 90s, at which point we all
Really?
just
Yeah.
started calling it cereal.
You still see it at like diners that have been there
Yeah.
for decades.
Yeah.
Every now
Mhm.
and then.
Okay, so they're eating just. So I'm to assume it's like Cheerios,
And
milk on a plate.
paper plate.
They don't have to eat that.
No.
They don't have to eat that. I don't know why
Eat
they're
dry
acting like-
cereal out of the box.
seriously,
Or put it on a plate, sure. Don't put
use a
milk.
cup.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, their options are limited because Callie dropped that box of china.
their best china.
Their best china. Well, that doesn't mean they have other dishes then.
I know. Here's
These
the thing. Mom was
this
like, I
fucking
can't
family.
find there, but I think that's how
Frasers.
those 3 rat people they take advantage of the fact that you are like
Discombobulated.
yeah, you're because everything's going wrong. The branch falls down, almost hits Callie. People are getting shoved by ghosts. Oh, I had a question about Dad being stabbed.
Yeah.
The dad.
Oh yeah, the dinner.
He
the
gets
famous dinner.
sliced in the side.
Yeah, what
Yeah, the
happens
reenactment.
there?
Okay.
I'm confused about this.
Because they try to replicate it in the movie, in the third one in the
Yeah.
movie. I think what he's doing is like leaning. This is not a visual medium. I don't know. I'm just doing this for the people in the room. But I think he's like
got
got
the
his
knife, like
arm
he's
up
ready
for
to
this giant roast,
Yeah.
this giant
Big
delicious roast.
Yeah.
Which that's, when you move in and you're like, all right, day 2 or 3, let's get that roast on the table,
They were like,
baby.
yeah.
we had cold cereal on a plate for breakfast. We're having a roast for dinner. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
what's he doing?
I
like
think he
he-
was kind of like
He's going to
winding
slice.
up almost.
Maybe
so
it
I
was
think
the
he went
slice
back, and the ghost kind of like
Pushes
angled it.
Callie. The ghost pushes Cody or Callie, and then it slides, doing like a gash in his side.
I totally thought he got freaking impaled. So I was like, how's
no,
he okay?
it was like a gash in his side, but it was
Okay.
The father gets
deep
it the
enough to-
worst.
Oh
of
my
all
God.
3 of these books. He gets
Well,
stabbed. He
Callie
gets
dies.
blinded. He, yeah, but she had it coming from the hubris of confidence.
That's true.
That's true.
While we're on the subject, I'm going to read the diary entry where I went, oh, Callie's a shithead. Dear diary, I wish I could tell you how happy I am and how much I love my new house, but I can't. I never expected such a run-down, dark, gloomy, tacky place. And then I'm going to skip a bit. Cody seems just as miserable as I am. James is the only one who's the least bit excited. But that's James. He gets excited about a new flavor of bubble gum. Confession time. All day I kept thinking about Rick. I've been in Shadyside only one day and I miss him already. I wonder if he's been thinking about me. A couple of times I started to tell Cody how much I missed him, but I caught myself in time. I keep forgetting that Cody went out with Rick first. I keep forgetting that she accused me of stealing him away from her. I mean, they went out on one date, and it was Rick's choice to start seeing me. I didn't force him or anything. Poor Cody. I hope she'll have a better time here in our new town. She has such a messed up attitude, always blaming me for her problems. I hated that she's so jealous of me. What am I supposed to do? Callie, you fucking cunt.
She does suck. I will say, though, that every time frickin' Cody was like, how come you get all the guys? How come... When you say that to somebody, what are they supposed to say?
I'm sorry, but she stole a guy out from underneath her sister. So yeah, from then on, I'm going to be like, you get everything, I get nothing.
Oh, but why put someone in that position? Because then what are they going to say?
Because fuck her, she has all the guilt coming. She should feel guilty and terrible about herself all the time.
She can't help it. She's perfect. Maybe I just identify with her.
God, you fucking little Callie.
I mean, she also gets the job at the store for couples.
Oh, okay. Couples clothing.
Couples clothing. And
yeah, when I read that, I was like,
did you
pause?
highlight that part? Because that part is amazing and I forgot
think I
about
have
it.
It's so weird. And also, like, her outgoing nature gets her a job within like hours of looking. And Cody's like, well, I didn't find anything. And it's like, well, it sounds like you moved in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you're probably not going to find anything. So like, yeah, it is a nice job to help
the end
your
of
dad,
the summer.
Like, you know,
she comes around.
Paint the house.
She by the third book, she's really matured. Cody.
Yeah, it's been a couple years.
Yeah.
And she's matured by grief
like,
and
she did a 1 year long acting program and got cast in a major motion. Let's
1 year long acting.
Not even.
Yeah,
the timing is insane.
Acting
on that.
School.
She's launched into stardom.
Here we go. Callie nodded. Callie. I keep saying it.
It's because of the two L's.
Callie.
Callie nodded. A wide grin spread across her face. I got a pretty good job, she told her sister. It's in a boutique called Too Cute. Huh? Too Cute? What's that mean? Cody demanded, fiddling with her bangs. It's supposed to be a clothing store for couples. Too. Get it? Too Cute? Cody stuck her finger down her throat and pretended to puke. Yeah.
I was like, same Cody.
Correct
Same.
reaction.
Also, okay, here's my issue
I
with
have
this.
never heard of such a place.
No, but when the only way that you'd be like, what does that mean? Is if you know the spelling of Too Cute.
Agreed.
Because if someone just says, oh, it's called Too Cute, I'd be like, okay, it's a store.
It's very cute.
Yeah, like, oh, that's too cute. But only if you see the W are you like, huh?
Yeah, that's true.
That bugged me. But
still, what is this place?
Okay, so what is couples outfits?
This is, I mean, they never really go into it because they're doing inventory for so long.
Yeah, for days.
She can't come in.
Callie never starts.
She never goes to work.
So I have to give him credit, Mr. Stine, because this does sound like, not to rip podcast sponsors, this does sound like a bullshit startup that would sell ads on pot. Like, do you like dressing like your significant other? Check out Too Cute.
Yeah.
Use promo code CREEPS.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen people wear these kinds of clothes when I when people do that thing, and it's usually in like Hawaii, where like the lady will wear a dress of a pattern
and the
then
guy
the guy
has
wears
a
the shirt of the pattern, and then the kids each have
I guess that is a
that
thing.
style.
But it's a whole store of that?
But it's a whole store. And how big is the population of Shadyside? Like, I could see that being in a neighboring city. It's not very big.
But also, it is apparently so popular within Shadyside that it takes days to do inventory.
Yeah. The first book, again, filled with some truly upsetting stuff.
Yeah.
But that brings me to, maybe you guys have talked about this before, on other Fear Street episodes. Has anyone just called out, man, a lot of weird shit happens here on Fear Street?
Yeah.
Well, everyone. I mean, everyone in the books talks about it.
All the books, they're like Fear Street.
What a
Who would
weird
name a street Fear?
Like,
well, it all began with Simon Fear. And then we get a little bit of exposition about how Simon Fear was evil.
Like that was the quote when she goes, "Who is it named after? Mr. Street."
Oh, right. Yeah.
Hilarious. That was one of her funny
in
jokes.
like every book.
I guess I just wanted Anthony to go a little further, and it's like, yeah, I've heard bad stuff about your house, and also every other house. Let me tell you about the dead cheerleaders and
it's
the
all
diner is
localized.
But
haunted.
they talk about how weird stuff happens on Fear Street,
Okay.
and everybody's afraid to go there. However, and I think you and I have talked about this off the podcast, is like, why are you leaving it called Fear Street?
Name it something else.
Yeah.
Name it something else. I know you can't change what's happening,
Cricklewood Lane.
but the fact that you also have it called Fear Street forever.
Shady Street. Even
Yeah,
Shady
Shady
Street
Street.
is
There you
better.
Yeah.
Also, when
Death Street or Don't Live Here Street.
when they
If you're
explain,
going to go that far.
I know, stay away.
Yeah.
The way they explain it too, where they're like, well, it's like people are like Fear Street, blah, and they're like, well, it's named after Simon Fear, who was evil and blah
He's
blah
a
blah.
town settler.
Which is like that doesn't make it less
like
creepy or
all the more
scary.
reason.
It's like this evil person who like killed people,
And his
named
house
Simon
burned
Fear.
down.
This street is named after him, and also weird stuff happens here. That all seems to make sense and make it worse and make you not want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
But they seem to be like, well, don't worry about it. It's
Who is the mayor of Shadyside? I wonder if that's in a book.
Oh, God. The aldermans are just ghouls.
Maybe it's
They're
like the
just-
mayor in Buffy.
yes,
Oh,
Evil
right.
mayor.
trying to ascend.
What if he's a fear?
I have
I
a
wonder if
punch
there's a
up
book with
for
like that.
Callie's joke.
Okay, is
Oh,
it about
good,
the
good.
street thing?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Cool.
And she says, oh, what is it? Is it called Simon Street?
That would be
That's
really
a better
funny.
joke.
That would be
right?
funny.
Because they say it's named after like
Oh,
Simon Fear, or I guess they don't say the first
No.
name.
They don't say Simon
Nah.
Fear.
that's why I was
Darn.
like, huh? No,
It would
It
be
doesn't
funny,
say
yeah,
Simon
if
Fear.
if everyone knew the history already.
that would be a better joke to make. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then it's street. It's like, all right. I mean, I see what you're doing.
Like I see how it is in the pattern of a joke. It's just not funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not very funny,
It's
even
just
though
a
she keeps
smart
saying
ass
she is.
Yeah.
teen thing to say. And as an adult, you hear those sorts of things. Go like, I know I used to do this, but also please shut up.
She's like, I pride myself on my sense of humor.
I know,
You little shit.
but
I would like to read the most disgusting scene in the first book. Although I do think it's maybe more disgusting in the third. Chunky green liquid,
Yep.
as sour smelling as vomit, poured out of the faucet, plopping into the sink. It ran down Kelly's cheeks, dripped onto her neck, then onto the front of her nightshirt. Uttering a low wail of horror, she tried to wipe it off with both hands, but her hands were also covered in the disgusting, thick goo. She stared as the green chunks plopped into the sink. Oh, Kelly groaned. The smell was overpowering. Her stomach lurched. She bent over and began to vomit. Callie, are you sick? Callie, Cody burst into the bathroom. She let out a groan as the putrid odor invaded her nostrils. Oh, Callie moaned and retched again. And then, like, it's getting in their mouth. They're
and they're
slipping on
constantly
it.
retching. I thought, okay, here's the thing. The way that scene, I think that scene's great. That's an
Mhm.
amazing scene. The way they want to shoot it in the movie, where they're like,
Is
oh,
insane.
let's do it in the attic, which, why? The creepy thing is that she's
It's
like
coming out of the faucet.
coming out of the faucet and she puts it on her face. I don't know how you can get that done in an attic.
Because how else are you going to make it like the scene in The Shape of Water where the attic fills
Yeah.
with goo to the point where they're swimming? And as in The Shape of Water, ignoring the fact that there would be a billion little crevices
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the goo to slip out of.
Well, the goo is like more viscous than water, we'll say.
Still, there'd be like under the door.
Yeah.
It's an old house.
So
well, it's all magic, right? Like the house is doing it. The house
Fair.
was
Yeah.
making them not open the door
Fair.
and shit.
that a couple things about the goo in the attic. I mean, that is the thing I think they nail in the third book, that people who work in the movie industry, by and large, normal, regular, nice people, but there is a significant collection of dumbasses and psychopaths or sociopaths, as most of the crew are in this. Or most of the crew is nice, and then like there's a dumbass producer and a dumbass director
And an evil actress.
and an evil actress
Mhm.
who's
And then a
really
nice
fucked
actor.
up.
Dude,
The
she's like
director's
messed up.
She
kind of messed up.
She
director's
is a
pretty messed up.
sociopath.
But the other thing
The
is
director's
that
desperate and stupid.
going back to the well, the goo is monster blood, right?
I
We're
think
talking
so.
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps
We're
Monster
talking
Blood.
Monster Blood.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
It's
think
a
so.
green goo that's constantly
Unfamiliar.
menacing people.
Yeah.
There's at least four Monster Blood
Oh.
books.
I guess so.
I think so. Yeah, that makes sense now. Because I was like,
never
what
read
is it?
Goosebumps.
I thought maybe it was just like weird decay stuff. But now that you mentioned that, Monster Blood.
I
Yeah.
think Monster Blood has more flubber-like properties
Ew.
as well, but
Yeah.
it's
You mean in that it turns a nerdy professor into a slick guy?
Oh, I wish.
Wait, is that what happens in Flubber?
Isn't that Flubber?
No, that's
Isn't
the Nutty
that-
Professor.
Isn't the same?
I think Robin Williams
Is it
ends
the
up
same?
with
Robin
someone
Williams?
in Flubber.
I think it's a happy accident that he ends up with someone, but it doesn't make him suave. I think
I was thinking.
Nutty Professor, he turns from a professor to a suave guy.
yeah,
I
that's
thought
directly.
the Flubber did it.
I mean, I think the Flubber he ends up
What
looking like
turns
a
him into a
hero,
suave
good guy.
No, he's kind of just like he's like
I
a
believe
bumbling.
you. I'm just confused now.
Yeah, he's like a bumbling, like, absent-minded professor, and then he makes the Flubber, and it. What does the Flubber do?
That's
The
what I'm
Flubber
looking
bounces.
up.
is
I don't
kind of
remember
it
what
can bounce.
Flubber
I
is.
think it become really hard and really soft. So like the goo, the
You could,
later goo kind of applies. Like Flubber rules kind of apply.
Yeah, right. Where it's like
Is Flubber not a remake of an older?
It is a remake.
it
yeah.
is.
Okay.
Both that and Nutty Professor are remakes, aren't they? Nutty
Yeah.
Professor. Yeah, that's funny.
And I believe everyone ends up with a happy ending at the end and they come out looking like the hero, that sort of thing, but not directly in Flubber. Like, it might make him
It's not-
rich, I think.
But it
but I
doesn't
don't,
make
or
him
maybe
like.
stops.
And more respected, maybe, because he wasn't
Yeah.
respected before, right?
He wasn't respected, although that might be the bad guy. The bad guy tries to profit off the Flubber and he's got to stop him.
Right. Because the Flubber is sentient
yeah, the
too,
Flubber.
right?
Yeah.
It's like a little guy at some
yeah,
points.
it's like
a
the.
little-
when
I got
they-
confused because it's Nutty Professor, and then originally Flubber was called Absent Minded Professor. And so in my mind, and they're both Disney, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And so they got mixed up in my brain. I
Yeah.
thought they were both the same thing.
Oh my
No.
gosh.
Oh, that's the original. Okay.
The
yeah, now I
original
see.
Flubber is
the absent-minded
Absent Minded Professor.
Yeah.
Apparently based on a real guy.
But yeah, R.L. Stein has a history with using green goo.
Yeah.
The title
He
character
loves
was
it.
based in
Yeah.
part on Hubert Elia, a professor emeritus of chemistry at Princeton University who is known as Dr. Boom for his explosive demonstrations.
Dr. Boom.
Dr. Boom.
Sorry, that's why I had to keep reading.
I thought you were going to say loosely based on Humbert Humbert.
I am that a little bit went over my head, but
that's a guy in Lolita, right? That's the main
Oh,
character
yes.
in Lolita that James Mason plays.
yes, it is.
You just started saying Hugh, and I was like, is that
Hubert.
the name of the Lolita? Never mind. So I guess let's talk about the father, because the father
Father gets it the
eats
worst.
shit. I mean, the father is
Yeah.
losing his
He's
mind.
losing-
He
he's
does
talking
a full
constantly.
like Jack Torrance
Well,
shining, cracking
yes.
up by
He
the end of this
sees
book.
3 bloody
heads.
yeah, disemboweled. That's not the right word. Disembodied heads.
He just ripped off of the bodies. They're just upstairs in the attic. There's so much blood that it's coming through the attic and like raining down on the mom. They're also all being gaslit by this house
Yeah.
constantly. So he's like experiencing like psychological warfare and like seeing things that then go away. He gets stabbed. He gets blinded by a cloud.
By Ghost
Evil Cloud.
Yeah, Evil Cloud. I wanted more evil. Actually, we got plenty of Evil Cloud in the second book, but in the
So
third
much Evil
book,
Cloud.
you didn't really see. Again, to go back to The Shining, when the Overlook Hotel blows up in the book The Shining, they don't blow up the hotel in the movie, but they blow up the
Yeah.
hotel, and like a spirit, like the
Emerges,
evil kind
yeah.
of emerges and dissipates,
Mhm.
and that sort of thing. We never really see that. I guess the equivalent is the housekeeper, the real estate agent, and Hankers become rats. They devolve into rats.
fully
they're burning.
happens.
They burn, and like you can see like figures burning
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
for
fully
a second.
happens.
For a second, and
Right.
then later in the video,
In the video,
oh, sister says bye.
Callie waves goodbye. but there's not like a real satisfying, like, I am the source of evil. Like,
No, it's
No.
just Simon and Angelica.
Jason
here.
Laurie is just like a very mild Harold Hill, like slick salesman guy. I also want the one person you only get to see in the book, the first book that I wish came back is the town historian.
Loved that guy.
Yeah.
Loved
Yeah.
it. He had everything
He
in his
was
noggin.
great.
He had
And he
everything.
was kind of charming.
Yeah.
He never shows up again. And that would have been really helpful to everybody in book 3, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Here
book
we go.
3, I mean, by the end of book 3, I wish this didn't involve reading 3 books, because I feel like this is a great lesson to improv students, is teaching them heightening. It's like, all right, here's you establish a funny idea in the first beat of a show of the Harold. In the second beat, you kind of come at it from a different angle. That's Brant. The third beat, you really blow it out. And they certainly blow it out in the third book, because everyone's acting like a lunatic and the accidents get worse and worse.
And the house literally
blows
Blows
up.
And the house
up.
blows up. Yeah.
Here is the part where the house blows up. Squinting into the fiery red brightness, she began to see dark shapes, rat bodies thrashing wildly, flying helplessly in the raging flames, hundreds of rats shooting skyward in the fire, sizzling, burning as they flew. Cody felt her stomach heave, felt the disgust rise up in her, but she couldn't take her eyes away from the fiery sky, from the charred black rat bodies that flew over the roaring flames, and then human forms twisted up in the fire. Black shadows, the dark, tortured spirits of those buried under the house, men and women wailing and howling, thrashing in the flames as they rose higher, higher, and disappeared into the starless black sky.
Yeah, okay. I
So,
guess
yeah,
that's
they're
reasonably
writhing.
No, that's
satisfying.
fully-
I just
yeah.
all the rat stuff. I
The rat stuff
wasn't
threw me.
digging the rat
I don't
stuff.
understand who Mrs. Nordstrom, Mr. Hankins, and
Who are they?
Lurie's supposed to be. Well, Lurie is the original
But then
dad
why
of the
is he
house.
a rat?
Exactly. I don't think that the rat shit makes any sense.
It doesn't.
And also, theoretically, the other people who died in the house would be his family member, would be his wife and children.
Yeah, where are they?
But Nordstrom is not the wife.
Mm-mm.
We don't know. Hankers is just a
Why-
wandering handyman.
If Callie is still there, why aren't there any other Simon Fear victim ghosts?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why
There's
aren't
corpses
there
on
other
corpses.
ghosts?
Yeah.
Unless this is a real leap, unless the other two are killed by Simon Fear in a different book. And this is a
possible,
huge
but
payoff,
It
but
should be referenced.
it should allude
and
to
I think
that.
with
Yeah.
how much these books recap other history, we would know. We would have known.
Yeah.
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 There is a fight that we haven't talked about yet.
Yes.
That was pretty long, I thought. And I took pictures of it.
What book is this in?
Book 2.
Okay.
Scratch, scratch. Slowly, carefully, Brant reached for a straw broom he spotted on top of a box. The creature stepped out from behind a box. Brant narrowed his eyes at it. A fat raccoon. He uttered a relieved sigh. Only a raccoon. But it attacked me, he realized. A raccoon wouldn't do that, unless something was wrong with it, unless it had rabies. He stared at the raccoon. It was breathing hard. Its tail switched back and forth. Through the black mask on its face, it stared back at Brant and snarled. Oh no, Brant thought. It is rabid. The raccoon reared back on its haunches, preparing to spring again. Brant gripped the broom with both hands. If only I had one of Dad's spears now, he thought. The raccoon sprang. With a gasp, Brant batted at the animal with the broom. The creature let out an angry hiss as the broom knocked it back to the floor. Brant swung at it again. With a furious hiss, the raccoon swiped at the broom with its claws. Brant swung the broom. And again, furiously, backing the creature to the wall, snarling angrily. The raccoon scrambled up onto the windowsill. It pulled back its lips and bared its pointy teeth at Brant. Brant jabbed the creature with the broom. The raccoon snatched at the broom with its teeth and caught it. Startled, Brant let the broom slip from his hands. It clattered to the floor. Brant started to reach for the broom, but stopped when he noticed the raccoon crouched low, preparing to jump on him. If he bent to get the broom, Brant realized, the raccoon could leap and sink its teeth into his neck. The raccoon continued to utter its shrill, angry hiss.
It is long.
Spittle dripped from its mouth. Brant slowly backed away, his eyes locked on the animal. His leg hit something, a chair. With a startled cry, he stumbled and fell backwards. The raccoon sprang again. Brant jerked himself up. He grabbed the chair by the legs, lifted it, and jabbed it at the spitting animal. The raccoon retreated to the windowsill again. With a loud, angry shout, Brant heaved the chair at it. The chair slammed against the wall. The creature dived out the window. Brant lunged for the window, grabbed it by the top of the frame, slid it shut, and locked it.
Good Lord.
Just
That's a lot of a raccoon
It's
fight.
so much of
it's
a
so
raccoon
low stakes.
fight. Yeah, it's a real, especially coming out of the first book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the dead cat, I don't know. I feel like Brant's family gets off easiest.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
their
for
son
sure. Nothing
is already
happens.
He's already
living
dead.
on borrowed
Yeah.
time. I feel like the parents both come out. They don't really do one of them get hurt in
I
some
don't-
way?
Maybe, but
I mean, they're sad. Their
it's
son
like
died.
once Callie is the main ghost of the house itself stops attacking people. And it's just Callie doing it.
Yeah. Which
Because
I
like
guess
every time something bad happens, then it'll cut to Callie's point of view and she's like,
I know. She's like, and
I love watching you miserable.
maybe your comeuppance will be tomorrow. That's like a lot of
Yeah.
her being like, well, maybe.
Oh, we'll see. I'm having so much fun torturing you that no, just you wait.
I died tonight.
Oh
Yeah.
my
That last-
God.
In her diary,
Why is
constantly coming
It's
up.
so weird.
I mean, that was spooky. I mean,
Mhm.
that was
It was
good.
spooky.
That probably would have been great in the movie. If they
Yeah.
had made the
Yeah.
movie, that would have been a real spooky moment, real
Yeah.
spooky part of the ending. But yeah, Brant's family comes out okay. Brant causes such damage in some young
Yeah.
girls' social lives.
and to a drifter.
Yes.
Yeah. So Brant, inadvertently, he doesn't mean to do this, but his parents kill a drifter for him, have a drifter killed for him.
hmm
Two girls in his school get blow darts in their necks and they suffer nerve damage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
One of those two girls gets her arms sliced, right? It's the same. Yeah. Where the glass like explodes.
Oh, yeah, the glass explodes.
It's
yeah.
on her wrist.
That is, I'm realizing now, is this the difference that like Laurie is the driving factor in the first book? So it's an adult idea of horror, which is actually horror. And in the later books, it's a petty
girls?
teenage girl. I feel like that's probably
Yeah.
giving too much credit.
I think he probably didn't think it out to that extent.
But also some of the weird stuff is like caused by the weird shadow, which is the drifter.
The drifter.
Yeah.
So
Oh, while we're talking about Brant and his having the life force of a drifter, they mention another incident that took place on the island. Do you guys remember what it was?
which
are
one?
we talking
the Jaguar?
poison powder?
So
Jaguar poison powder or Jaguar
page
crush on him?
13, Jaguar attack / crush.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
Remember that old woman Mrs. McCloy asked? What was her name? Also, at the beginning of the book, they're doing that super obnoxious thing where they're basically going, so how long have we been brothers now? Where it's like they're all just remembering things together and reminding each other of the details. It's very obnoxious.
Love to talk about my memories with my bro.
Xena, Brant replied. Right, Xena. Remember that day she disappeared? The whole island searched for her. But her daughter kept insisting Xena had turned into a panther. And she wanted me to trap the panther, Brant remembered. I never understood that. Why me? I was just a 14-year-old kid. Because of the prophecy, Brant's father explained. The village sorcerer said something about a young stranger coming to the island. A young stranger who could break the spell on Xena, and you were the only young stranger around. I always thought that girl made the prophecy story up. I think she had a crush on you. Mom, she was 20 years old. I was only 14. There is no way she had a crush on me. You never know, Brant, Mrs. McCloy teased. Different cultures and everything. That never came back. Nothing about a prophecy ever came back, and I thought it was going to. It wasn't even tied in with the Drifter story, which it easily could have been.
Yeah.
That was
Or,
obnoxious.
Brant's mother being like real casual about statutory stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like saying
And
it's
girls turning
okay
into
in a
panthers.
racist way. She's like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know.
Well,
You know,
other cultures will be other cultures.
Mm-hmm.
different cultures and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, Brant's family like come.
He doesn't
come
have any
out
siblings, right?
easy.
It's just him.
It's just him.
Yeah.
He certainly has the confidence of an only
He
child.
does.
Yeah, but he and he doesn't really. I mean, he yelled like Callie and Cody.
Like California.
Yeah.
Callie.
Oh, that's good. He loves, and as most R.L. Stein protagonists in trouble love yelling no with like 7 O's.
Yeah,
Constantly.
or like oh, or
Or
like
Yeah.
like in book 3, the Callie, is that you?
Callie, is that you?
Come here, Cody.
Callie, I
Come
miss
here,
you.
Come find me. I'm
Callie,
right
can
here.
I hug you?
Cody, come
Callie,
here. Cody, I have
Callie,
something
is
to
that
show you.
Callie,
Cody, it's me.
is
Come,
that you?
I'll show you. Cody,
I'm coming,
I'm
Callie.
right here. Just follow
Can
my
you
voice,
hug me?
Cody.
Callie.
Just come in the basement,
It's
Cody.
It's
Bo. I
nonstop.
need to make the movie. My career. I'm going to be in director's jail.
And that's book 3.
Can we talk about all the fucked up shit that happens in book 3?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so first thing that happens is one of the crew, right? Gets his fingers chopped off by the
garbage disposal.
why on earth
would you
did they
have
keep
it be
the-
a working
I know,
garbage
I
disposal?
know.
Take the garbage disposal
what-
out.
It doesn't need to be there.
You have the special effects are within the disposal.
Yeah.
It would not be the case that the gears and the machinery of the disposal would still be in there.
They would
if
gut
there's
that
a
kitchen.
rubber glove.
Yeah. Literally
it would be
just put a
nothing.
little
It would
bag
be-
underneath
it
the
would
drain.
Be a hole.
Yeah, there wouldn't be like there's so much like so many
That
of the
makes no
issues
sense.
that they come up against are because they're using a fully functional house.
Yeah.
And none of it is sets. And they didn't even no effort was made to guard the safety of anybody on set.
No.
Also, I mean, I said this stuff, I joked about the stuff they got right about Hollywood earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what they got wrong. No unions were called. Like, this movie would have been
Yeah.
shut down.
Yeah.
This would have been headlines in all the trades, like fingers chopped off on location shoot
Mm-hmm.
of weird horror movie. Like, all of these, someone would have called the union on a primitive 94 cell phone
Yes.
immediately.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
Teamsters or SAG or the
Instead,
makeup union.
The cops are there, but yeah, every union would have shut this production down.
Yeah. And the other thing too is everyone knows horrors have happened in this house.
Yeah.
And yet everyone is surprised by these
Every time.
insane things going wrong on a movie where, again, one of these things happening, it would have been the biggest story of the year. There was that poor crew member
Yes.
was killed by a train
Yeah.
a
Yes.
few years ago,
It
making
was
a fucking
huge
Allman
scandal.
Brother biopic or some nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like, because it was, as often happens, like, safety is the first thing that goes on when people are watching the money. It's like, all right,
Mhm.
well, I guess we got to do a 15-hour day,
Yeah,
and then
when
you have to drive
a
home.
director who's not being careful.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're functioning railroad tracks. Yeah, we can walk on them. It's like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah, it would be like, why didn't you get rid of the garbage disposal? Why didn't you take out the garbage disposal?
It's such an easy
the whole movie
thing
would have
to
been
do.
shut down.
yeah.
And also, like there's so many horrible, scary things are happening. And yet Bo is like, Cody, did you do this? And it's like, what? Why would you
I hate that.
Oh,
when
and
it
they
happens
immediately
in books.
blame
Me too.
this first-time actor
Yeah.
Who lived the
who
horror
lived the
of the
horrors.
movie.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I know the thinking on PTSD and triggers and all
Mhm.
that has evolved greatly over time. But surely
still.
in the 90s, you are not, because they're just dragging a victim of trauma back to the place of
Yes.
trauma. And it's like, all right,
Like,
make a movie.
when she showed up to audition, they would have been like, no, absolutely not.
Well, also,
No.
here's my question. What are her parents thinking? Do you think they're like, I can't believe you would be in this fucking movie?
She said she had many conversations with them, and I cannot imagine a world in which they're like, oh, the house that melted your sister
Mhm.
and evaporated your brother.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe you should go back and face that.
Not the dog. No one gives a shit about
No
No one
Cubby.
gives a shit about Cubby.
Cubby
Even
is
though
a
Cubby was the
burden.
only thing I was worried about. I was like, I'm worried about Cubby. Where is Cubby? And also, James is correct to worry about him. And then it's just this child screaming from nowhere, "Mommy, it's dark. Mommy, Daddy, get me out of here." I was like, oh my God.
I mean, in their defense, the idea of moving your entire family to a new dirty house
Mhm.
while experiencing horrors, and then on top of that, you got to get your son a puppy that you had to train. That does sound foolish.
Well, it's one thing if you don't.
It is a bad time to get a puppy.
Yeah.
You
Which is
wait
fine,
until you're settled
but they
in.
got
Settle
the
in.
puppy, and the puppy is missing. Look for the fucking puppy.
Yeah. Anthony
Nothing
did
has
more.
gone
Yeah.
so
Anthony
wrong.
was-
Yeah.
Anthony helped more.
Nothing has gone so wrong at that point that they can't fucking take 2 seconds out of their day and actually help James look for Cubby.
Yeah, well, the dad's being too busy getting gaslit by the house. The mom
It's just
is hiding. What is she doing?
doing
She's,
stuff, doing
Yeah.
mom stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
she's cooking a lot. She
Yep.
cooks a lot in this book.
She does. She does cook. You're right.
Yeah.
She does cook.
She does cook.
The other thing I think that got that was confusing to me was, well, two things. First, this movie predicted the 1517 to Paris, the movie where the soldiers
Oh, yeah.
stop the terrorists
Oh,
on
yeah.
the train by playing, and then they
And then
play
they play
themselves in the
themselves.
movie.
Yes.
The other thing is that the timeline is insane. The events of the first book happened 2 years before this. In that time, that means Cody has finished high school, went through some sort of acting program. They allude to
yeah.
acting
Yeah.
something.
school.
Acting school.
Which I guess means like a Stella Adler acting actress.
No, I had no
group
idea what that
type
was.
thing.
Like Barbizon
So-
for acting.
Did they
she
also
got discovered at a Vaughn's?
Is that the father? They finally got a job. Like that's their job. Is they sold their life rights to this movie. Who wrote the movie? We never see the writer.
How did it come about? I thought
how did
maybe
it
she
come
wrote
about?
a book about it. When the book started, I was like, oh, they're making a movie based on the book she wrote about her experiences. And now she's on set just as like the person
Well, that would make sense.
advising. But when she was in it,
And playing her dead sister.
I was like, oh, what?
I know. The fact that she did that, I was like, something's wrong.
Yeah,
Something's
you're
wrong.
ill.
There's something wrong. You shouldn't want to play your dead sister in
Yeah.
a movie.
Yeah.
And
Also, it's
I don't care how much publicity you're getting. The world would be like, what are you doing putting her in the movie?
I know.
That's
well, I mean,
insane.
but that movie came out. The soccer player guys.
It is different though.
It's true. It wasn't
Yeah.
one survivor
it wasn't
of like a
successful
horrible.
takedown of a terrorist.
Yeah, true.
Oh yeah.
It was your sister died horribly, and now you're going to
And play
play your
her.
sister.
Yeah, that's also weird. Like,
Your
wouldn't you want?
twin.
Wouldn't you want the movie star to play
would want
the
the
lead
best
and the
person who
novice
can.
to
Yes.
just play? Oh, you're just playing yourself, so react as you did in the time. That's so much easier.
Oh my God. But now they're like, okay, well, just like try to remember what your sister was going through and just really try and bring that.
And then she like opens the fridge in the kitchen at one point,
Oh,
and Callie's head is just in the fridge, like a bust of Callie's head.
Psychotic.
It's like
that's
It's
fucking
for
crazy
use
that
in the
they did
movie,
that.
and they're like, "Oh, we're so sorry you had to see that, but you were gonna have to see it eventually."
Well, no, they're
right?
like,
It's
are
what?
you okay? Like,
Them constantly going like, "Are you okay?"
You
Like,
fucking
no.
idiot.
yeah,
I'm
like it's
not
kind of
okay.
like they're like,
Like,
ew, are you okay?
Are you okay? Can you not handle this? Why can't you handle this?
Yeah, and
every time they say, "Are you okay?" it's implied that she should be.
yeah, that she's weak.
Yeah, and
Which she's not okay.
a lot
No.
of them seem to be like eyeballing her. Like, man, she's really fucking up this movie. No
Yeah.
one's making the connection. Like, maybe this sick house
Like,
of horrors is
kill-
doing it
is
again.
real and killing people.
Okay. So who do you guys? Let me ask.
Uh-huh.
Bo, the director.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Who were you guys picturing playing him? If you turn this book into a movie,
Oh, David Strathairn.
okay.
Who is that?
He played
He was,
Edward R. Murrow in Good Night and Good Luck.
He was Mr. Good Night and Good Luck.
He was the absent-minded professor.
I only ask because it seems like he went to great pains to make him. It's like, well, he's a director, but he's wearing dirty pants and a
first
dirty
I was
shirt.
That was so
and
specific.
things.
I was sort of for a second I was picturing Spielberg and then not, and it sort of jumped around. And then I only said David Strathairn just now because he sounds like the same body type where he's like kind of tall and thin with like some stubble, and he's like he sometimes plays like very tired looking guys.
Bradley Whitford.
I was gonna say Robert Downey Jr. Like on the late 90s, like on the mend, maybe Robert Downey Jr.
Is he a little young? Is he supposed to be kind of young?
I think he was kind of young. I thought they kind of went to pains of him being like intense, but also a little weird, a little quirky.
He was a little quirky. You know what part I was kind of scared when he and I was scared for him assaulting her.
He like grabs her.
Come to my hotel room.
Yeah, come to my hotel room. Which she's like, oh, he's just trying to intimidate me. I was like, girl, no. He's trying to like get on you.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I thought for sure.
I was like, oh no.
And then I was like, oh no, he's just putting explosives in the basement.
And then the producer. Well, first off, someone forgets the name of the guy who gets his fingers mangled. Is it Rob?
Yeah, Rob at the very end of the book is
like, who
I'm
is that?
sorry,
And it's
what?
like, oh, it's the guy who got his fingers mangled.
Here we go. Trying to force her breathing to return to normal, Cody studied Bo. He was a thin, intense, good-looking guy, about 35 or 40, with a high, square forehead and long, straight salt and pepper hair pulled back in a ponytail. He always had a day-old stubble of whiskers on his chin and cheeks. He dressed the same every day. A gray sweatshirt, usually with a food stain or two on the chest.
Disgusting.
Baggy, wrinkled chinos, and brown
Billy Bob
loafers
Thornton?
without socks.
Yeah, that might be it.
Maybe
Billy Bob Thornton or like Matthew Lillard.
And then he seldom removed his blue glasses even at night. And I'm like, sunglasses?
See, that's what made me think of Robert Downey.
Yeah,
I feel
the
like he's played
sunglasses
characters with the sunglasses thing. Or I was trying to think of like who is the quirky actor you get when you can't afford Robert Downey Jr. The producer, the scummy, like I feel like
He's not scummy.
I felt, was he a little scummy?
Oh, the cigar guy.
Yeah, the cigar
that guy.
guy.
Sorry.
That guy, I watched, I had never seen this before. I watched All That Jazz last night. And there's the sleazy producers just kind of watching most of the events of the movie. And I was like, that's what that cigar producer looks like, is one of those guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
My first thought was David Strathairn. I was picturing him in Dolores Claiborne. He has a ponytail, I think. Or maybe just long hair. No, I think he just has long hair. But he like is sort of like grimy and gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's the other? Oh, so Rob's father is like a high-powered LA lawyer they allude to. And at some point...
I think executive.
Oh, right.
Executive. And,
Right.
And they're
He's
like...
a Hollywood executive.
Yeah. And they're like, if we don't get this movie shot, if we finds out about this, he's going to sue the production.
Yeah.
He should sue the production.
Yeah.
Everyone
involved should sue
the production.
Everyone should sue.
As soon as the director grabs her, she should sue the studio. She should be on the phone to SAG.
Everybody should be calling their damn unions to report all of these safety violations.
This is like the Twilight Zone movie times 1,000.
Yes.
Like once the face gets singed with the light, the camera crushing someone's skull, like
it went through her head.
Through her head. Persia's stand-in Joanna, when a camera is like supposed to pan down to them, as a reaction shot in the backyard, like Callie loosened the screws on it, and so it just like flew down and cut right into Joanna's face.
The word impaled is used, and I was like, dang. So that was another one of my like, oh shit, this book's for real moments.
Yeah. The stabbing too, when when
Yes!
fake
I
Cody
love
stabs
that.
Persia's hand, and in Persia's defense, even if that was a prop knife, like a fake knife, it would have hurt. Like
you're still slamming.
But everyone's it's been replaced, and it's like, well, it still would have been dull metal jabbed into your hand. It still wouldn't have been good. But it was also a ghost.
Why would all of
It was
them,
a ghost.
with everything that's gone wrong, they're like, yeah, have a fight over the knife. I'm sure it'll be fine.
I know. I know.
With all the people who've been mangled and murdered so far, let's have a fight with the knife in this scene when it didn't happen that way. What a great idea, Persia.
Also, like, I guess we see how the house gets blown up in the book here, but like when the director's like, I don't want anyone to know what the ending is. The surprise ending is going to be that he's going to literally blow up the house.
Which obviously didn't happen.
But like, I'm just trying to understand what's the story he's telling. Because
it sounds like it's The Shining.
So he's just doing The Shining.
The whole trilogy as a thing, or what Bo is telling.
What Bo is telling.
I want to know what Bo's other filmography looks like.
That's what I'm wondering. Because I'm like, what story are you telling, Bo?
He's Mark Maron's character in Glow. I don't know if I just started watching it. Mark Maron is really good in it.
He's better in Glow than he is in his own thing. No, he's great. He's very really good in that show.
Anyway, why does it need to be a surprise?
Why does he? That's also another reason to call any union.
I understand adding stuff.
There's massive explosives
because he wants a real. Yeah, I know, and people don't know about it.
How did he get those?
I know.
You have to go through so many levels.
And so then, like,
stuff.
He had them delivered somewhere, and he took them all down to the basement, and he was rigging them.
Yeah,
this, you guys. I find it a little hard to believe.
I know. It makes him too busy. He's too busy.
He
doesn't have time. Also,
he's like the fucking librarian from Overdue.
Because he's
just got so much to do. He has a busy schedule.
Set up the things. He has to like belittle his actors.
He has to comfort / accuse Cody of things.
He has to grab Cody.
He has to gaslight Cody.
Well, he's like was it Randy Rand, the rapper from the Hardy Boys?
Oh,
fuck! What is his name?
Randy Rand.
Yeah, Randy Rand. He's very busy. He had to write that new song in honor of the Hardy Boys.
Oh my god! Yeah. So okay,
there's a lot to do.
So was Bo wanting? I assume R.L. Stine found out that the reactions in Alien were real when the
chest burster?
Yeah.
I forgot that.
Yeah. So I feel like he learned that and was like, that's cool. Well, maybe because he was like, I want a real reaction.
Well, I have heard of it. Pardon me. You do hear of people not like Game of Thrones. You're not allowed to know who's going to die, even though you're in it. Like everybody's having pages held back from them. But when it's a huge explosion
that you're going to ostensibly be near.
And everyone, like, you do at a certain point get the pages. And the people who are in the scene have to get the pages.
Yeah.
Well, you have to know.
Everyone's going to see the explosion. At this point, they are filming.
The studio would have had to sign, unless he had like full creative control, the studio would have had to sign off on like the script. If he withheld the last few pages, that means his career is going well. So why is he so stressed about this fucking movie?
I know. He's like, this is going to be,
I've had
those
3
last
turkeys.
Turkeys sound old.
Okay, 3 turkeys. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, I kind of get that now.
Yeah, because he's had 3 failures.
But he sounds like just like a
white
dude movie director. He can just then go do, commercials or TV.
Yeah.
Everyone just used to go to TV back in the day when it wasn't respected.
I was going to say, like, Rob must be really well off. He's a commercial actor in the 90s. Nice.
Yeah. No kidding.
Good. That's house buying money right
there.
Also,
when Persia's like, that dog's being commercial, blah, blah, blah. She's like being so like bitchy about it. And I was like, yeah, but he's coasting.
Yeah.
He's coasting.
Like, she was the star of
she was a child star
in the 80s.
Yeah, so she probably has residuals.
She's way loaded.
Yeah.
Someone was telling me about like, there used to be math formulas where they would calculate how much residuals they'd get because they just estimate like based on this time slot how many people would usually and that sort of thing. And what you ended up with at the time was much better than what we get now, even though they're covering you for like network and cable and internet and social media and Instagram. It's all different.
Yeah, our unions
so little
are really fucking us.
Yeah. Little in the, terms of how much these massive corporations are making, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, sure, relative to others, but like, yeah, the corporations who now run everything are just making so much money and acting as though they don't know how
Yeah,
many
I
people
don't
are
know.
Can't afford it.
watching,
We
and we
just
don't know
can't.
how to monetize
Yeah.
this crazy new internet.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah.
All commercials are going non-union. You guys, it's hard out here
It's
for
bad.
a pimp.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is bad.
We're broke. We're all broke.
What else? I feel like there's another. Rob's an all right guy.
Like, Jason was in a Super Bowl commercial for beer
Yeah.
with Chris motherfucking Pratt.
Yeah.
Why don't you have a house now?
I know.
I know.
In reality, it's much more like I'm still at my old day job.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it breaks down,
Yeah.
which I'm grateful for
Sure.
because it's been pretty
But-
slow otherwise.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And like, in booking that, you won the jackpot. But that's
Yeah.
what
Yes.
the jackpot looks like now.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I mean,
if you got a Super Bowl commercial back in the day,
Yeah.
pretty good money.
yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Don't want
Do you want
think
to talk
too
about
hard
it now?
Hmm?
Do you want to keep thinking about it
I
more?
mean, it keeps me up at night.
Do you
but,
want to? We
that's
should
fine.
probably look it up and see what you would have gotten in the 90s.
I mean, even in the
sounds fun.
90s, I'm sure people were white knuckling it, going like, how much longer will this air? How much longer will this go? And also, like, when will checks arrive? That's a fun part of being an actor, is like,
Mhm.
some weeks, a couple checks arrive, some weeks, nothing
Yeah.
happens.
Mhm.
Or like if you work with people in certain states, they're like, oh, we don't have any rules about how often we have to pay freelancers. So we're going to pay you net 60. And you're like, what?
Oh, yeah. I mean, freelancing is its own.
It's
Nightmare.
awful.
Yeah.
It's awful. Horrible.
Yeah, the only people who really make money anymore are like super big stars like Chris Pratt or Tom Cruise or
Or
Jennifer
Ninja
Lawrence
on Twitch.
Ninja on Twitch
Ninja, the Twitch streamer.
or Kelly.
Who? Oh,
Kelly
me.
on Twitch.
Kelly on Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/Kelly Nugent.
You are number 2 after
Mhm.
Ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so we found that very unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't expect
Like-
R.L. Stein to write a fully,
No, I do.
Day of the Locust kind of exploration of Hollywood sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, I kind of like that Persia was just a flat out lunatic.
She
Dude,
is
she
a
was balls to the
lunatic.
wall. She was
Yeah.
so
I'm
mean.
surprised that she wasn't
She didn't get killed.
murdering.
Yeah.
I mean, for one, that she didn't get killed, but also that like it truly seemed like she was going to murder Cody
Yeah.
at times. And because of the whole Abby thing, I was like, maybe she's Persia.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Wild stuff.
Other
Wild
people
stuff.
were. Bo was punished more. He got
Yeah, he
hit
got a
with like a
spotlight.
C-stand and then got the spotlight singed in his
Yeah.
face, so it started to smoke.
He's
Yep.
dead, right?
Yeah,
I think
they
he was
never
on, no,
talk
I thought
about
he
him
lived,
again.
didn't he?
What?
I don't know.
And
I think
then-
he
Maybe.
died. I think he for sure died.
Can I read?
Because otherwise, why is she getting the tape from Sam McCarthy?
What? Oh, maybe
Yeah.
that's
Naggled
it.
hand guy.
Well, I have that in front of me.
I was afraid about what was going to happen there. I was like, is this revenge? What's going on?
So Cody
remembered.
and Rob are back in LA, and they're still, they're
Going
two crazy
strong.
kids making it work.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Shared
a little, shared trauma. I mean,
Well, also, they really seem to get
they
along
work together.
on the
It
set.
seems like
Yeah.
they work together.
He seems like a good guy.
seems like a good guy. Yeah. At the beginning, I was a little like, all right, well, he's got a little more acting experience, kind of taking advantage of the newcomer. But it seems like they
But
kind of
turns
flesh it
no,
out.
He's a
Yeah.
gentleman.
So Cody hurried to the kitchen and pulled 2 cans of Coke from the refrigerator. When she returned to the living room, she was surprised to see Rob holding a large brown envelope. Not the pizza, he said. He removed a video cassette from the envelope. A note was taped to the box. Cody pulled it off and read it. Here's a collector's item for you, Cody. It's the only film that was shot at 99 Fear Street. Talk about a big finish. Better luck to us all, Sam McCarthy. Insane.
Yeah, he's in high
What a-
spirits.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like, considering all that went down, it's like, thought you'd want to see this last tape taken at your sister's murder site.
Yeah. Why
where
would you
my
send that?
hands
That's why I thought
got
it was
cut
revenge.
up. Yeah.
I mean, I see it closure, but I'm also kind of laughing at like the cigar chomping guy
I
just
know.
like doing a line of coke, like,
Yeah.
I'll send her the note.
I
I'll send
know.
her the thing. She'll want this. She'll want this VHS.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, she's a good kid.
Also, when
So much
mom,
coke.
when mom and dad come home, does she go like, "Hey, you gotta see this. This is
Mom, Dad, look what they sent.
Callie waves goodbye in the
Can't
fire.
you see it? And they're like, why are you doing this to us?
And they're like, but what about James? Don't worry about it.
She's like, oh yeah, I didn't check in on that.
And like, they never know that James died. Why isn't she
That
also
was
going back for
crazy.
James?
That was crazy. Did they know that? So when Brant finds the body, does anybody
Yes.
because there's a
They
funeral.
give the
Maybe they
remains.
got
Yeah.
notified.
They get the police
you're
got the
right.
remains out of
You're
there.
right.
Yeah.
And speaking
I
of the
forgot.
police, so earlier in this final chapter, Cody and Rob are sitting around. Cody does not want to go out. Rob's giving her a hard time about like, why do we stay in so much? Probably the trauma.
Yeah.
The police called again this morning. This is Cody talking. It's been weeks since the explosion, and they still can't figure out what happened. Everyone had a different story, and one version is stranger than the next. And they still have trouble believing that it was Callie, not me, who did all those horrible things. Cody sighed.
I forgot about this.
Fortunately, they're going to drop it. Of course, I'll still have to go to therapy twice a week, but I'm glad no one is pressing charges. Yeah, agreed Rob. I just want to forget the whole thing.
I know.
There's some very funny
fact that-
moments.
They're like, she's like, yeah, they think I did it, but I just have to go to therapy. And it's like, oh, yeah, you need that anyway. So,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, but I'm trying to reconcile whether the police are like, all right, I guess it was a ghost. We got a lot of fucking ghosts in this town. Or are they also just calling to go like, so walk us through it one more time. The ghost of your sister took on a corporeal form, a solid form, right? That's the word. I might be getting that wrong. And stabbed someone and then burned the director's face. So, but it's like, what do the police keep calling, but they're not pressing charges? I don't know, but I do love the flippancy.
I would imagine that it's like the shady side police, and they're like, oh, where did it take place? 99 First Street? Yeah, we don't need to press charges.
You're gonna
Yeah.
give that one over to the federal boys.
It's
I'm
like,
gonna give that to the marshals.
It's like Sunnydale, where they're just like
Or they call
gas
Mulder
leaks.
and Scully.
yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Rob, I just want to forget
Yeah,
the whole
gas
thing
leaks.
is very funny.
Rob is like that reminds me of like
I mean,
because
amen, Rob.
in a lot of like R.L. Stine books, when a female character is like really upset about a very real trauma, the love interest will be like, yeah, but let's make out. Like I don't want to talk about this. Like let's go to a movie.
In
and
his case, I forgive it because he almost drowned in goo.
He did almost
Yeah.
drown in goo, and she had to CPR him.
Yeah, like he truly had a trauma as well.
He
so
truly
like
did.
he does have a
different
say
trauma,
in
but a trauma.
how he wants to deal with his trauma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
So
So
and I'm sure part of that is just
So
like
hot. I feel physically
It's
ill.
very
looking
hot in
over
here.
at Kelly, and you're like,
Yeah, I know. My heart's like going really fast right now.
it's as hot as that goo-filled attic in book 3.
Dude,
Yeah.
that goo was hot.
That goo
was
was
hot
hot.
goo.
The hot goo was upsetting.
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
like that it was hot.
and it smelled really bad, and it took them way too long to realize that it wasn't the rigged goo.
the second
that
it smelled bad,
the
they
guy
should have been
set
like,
up.
and that was hot.
Like
They should have
this
been
is
like, it's not
Ernie's
this.
doing.
Also, don't rehearse. You just have to scream. Take your breaks when they're given to. It's like the army. You
Yeah.
eat and you sleep when you can. When
Yeah.
you're on a set, like you don't know when you're gonna have a downtime.
And the fact that Bo would then be like, had to get rid of him because of that dang goo machine. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, that's not what it is.
Also,
you know.
yeah, and also like speaking as a voice actor, when they're like, you should rehearse screaming. I'm like, no,
No.
you shouldn't,
yeah.
because you're not going to have a voice after you do that. You're going to scream your head off,
Mhm.
and then when the cameras are rolling, you
We'll have nothing left.
will have a ragged pulp throat.
You got 2 tries.
Yeah.
and then I
Get
need
it.
a bucket of tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the kind of flippant, like, oh well, let's forget the whole thing is kind of also is kind of R.L. Stine moving it along. But I do have to say, in the first the Callie diary entries, there's a moment where she's like, if one more thing goes wrong, I feel like my family will just unravel. Oh well, tomorrow's another day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Or she goes straight from being like, this house is evil. I don't know if I can stay in here a moment longer. I wonder why Dad's acting so weird.
Yeah.
It is
It's
weird
like,
how
what? You just had the thought that you're freaked out. Oh, no, that's what it was. She's like written in her diary about how afraid. The whole family is, but they can't leave because they don't have any money. And her dad is muttering because he saw all these heads. And then she's like, hey, Anthony, do you want to come over for spaghetti? And he's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And she's like, what, are you afraid of my house or
It's
something?
like, you were
It's
just
like,
afraid of your house.
what are you talking about,
You
Callie?
silly little idiot. You were
You
just afraid of your own damn house.
Stupid cow. You were just writing in your fucking diary and you know that things are bad. Why would you bring another human being who you like into this
I
hellhole?
know.
Oh, but Anthony never turns down a big old plate of spaghetti.
Pasta.
I know.
Yeah.
He was excited to eat that pasta.
Oh, that gravy.
and
Just
a
like his
Marone.
grandmama.
And a promise of specially made cake for him afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, I'm going to make a cake too. And I was like, girl, that's so many carbs.
You just moved.
Throw a
Don't make
salad.
a German chocolate
Yeah,
cake.
don't-
Like, what are you
don't.
doing?
Yeah, people are dying.
Also, okay, I know that we're in a heat wave and so my mind may be skewed. But when they're like, the house is cold, we should cut down the trees and let the sun in. I was like, no!
Yeah,
Leave the trees!
I was like, you don't just cut down some trees.
Yeah, they're like
'cause you want
100-year-old
more sun.
trees.
Yeah,
nunightmare people.
you need those trees.
You need
Yeah.
them. They
Unless
actually
they're
shelter
damaging
from
the
wind.
foundation of your home.
Sure.
Keep a tree.
Keep a tree.
Yeah.
They help both seasons,
Mm-hmm.
cold and hot,
Mm-hmm.
unless they're evil trees, in which case these are evil. They're blood trees. Their sap is
That was
blood.
a cool part.
Oh, that was
was
cool.
Oh yeah, the dad is like struggling to cut off
Yeah,
this branch.
Brant made
and
himself
it's
useful
Here's the
for
bleeding.
thing.
once.
Brant is a little idiot that constantly leaves people alone in his death house. He'll be like, come into my house.
Yeah.
Oh, stand next to these.
Stand next to the weapons,
the weapons.
please.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go
I'll be right
outside.
back.
And then every time he's like, how does this keep happening? And it's like, probably magic. Probably magic because you are alive through magic. So
Yeah,
put the
so
pieces
you
together,
know
you
it
dumb
exists.
shit.
Yeah. But that is, I think there is a base in reality for some of the kind of flippant stuff where it's like, the horror. Oh, well, can't wait to see what the school cafeteria has tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I do remember being a teenager and like experiencing the horrors of regular teenage life
Mhm.
for like, family, but my parents are getting divorced and just
Yeah.
being like despondent one moment and be like, ooh, new comic day tomorrow. Like
Yeah,
swinging.
Sure,
'Cause
you're
those
just
things
like
still
grabbing
happen.
onto the
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like school lunch is going to be a thing that you think about. And like, yeah.
But
Totally.
like the only one who makes any sense across all of these books is Cody of the first book. When she is like, we got to get out of this house. I can feel that it's evil. I need to get my family out of this house. I'm just going to pretend to be a ghost to try to scare Callie and get her on my side. And I was like,
She-
yeah, if you just start freaking people
that made
out and then
sense.
they'll leave.
Yeah. Well, that's what a lot of like conspiracy people do, or like people that are really into like UFO stuff. They
Oh,
tr-
they
like, even
stage stuff.
even people that stage stuff still believe it. They just think it's a necessary thing to get people on board with. They're like, well, whatever. This little lie won't matter because I know the truth.
Once I open your eyes,
then you'll see the real
see it
stuff.
everywhere. Yeah, like I
Um,
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that how like do you know the QAnon people? Do you know these
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
internet people?
Yeah.
It's this. There's a person on 4chan
Mm-hmm.
who is like, well, Donald Trump's been enacting a giant worldwide pedophile sting, and it's all very hush hush. But he's been giving us little clues.
Oh yeah,
And there's a bunch of
that's what Roseanne thinks.
Yeah, Roseanne is into it. But there's a bunch of maniacs down in like Arizona who are
Yeah.
like, we have found the remnants of a pedophile sex prison camp. And it's just like, no, it's just a homeless camp. They found some bottles and some old shoes and like
Yeah.
a broken tent. And it's the police, like the local authorities are like losing they're just like, please stop coming here.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
actual children are being held
Actual-
in
Yeah.
cages.
Meanwhile, the actual president is on the Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs.
Yeah.
Yeah, sex planes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little
it's
spent. but
Very
do we have
odd.
anything else that we haven't covered? I feel
mean-
like we really covered up
Yeah, we
these
did.
books.
Yeah.
We
Did
did.
you have anything else, Jason?
I got very diligent. Like I said, I've read the first book 3 times now
Mhm.
because
Nice.
we were just starting Podcast The Ride when
Uh-huh.
you and I first started talking about this series. And you're like, oh, we'll get you on soon. So I was overly diligent and I read it real quick.
Oh, it was
And-
way before you started Podcast The Ride. It was like
Was it?
within 6 months or something of the podcast of Teen Creeps
No.
within the first year, maybe.
Well, I read it. I read the first book in like 2017, and more recently when we were trying to schedule this, we were like, well, let's do the whole trilogy. And I'm like, I gotta get the others. And then I was like, oh, I took a bunch of screen grabs from the first book, but that was on an old phone that crashed and I lost the pictures.
Mhm.
So I was like, I'll just read it again. So I'm like, I've now read the third book. That's fine. But I learned like, when you tell a podcast guest, we'll have you on soon, that can mean anything. But it was fun, especially fun to revisit the first two that I read as a kid. I had no memory of Brant being a zombie.
That's so
was
funny.
so shocking
That blew me away.
to me.
Yeah, because I remembered the first and the third, and I didn't remember the second at all.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
And then the third, like having never read the third, it's so funny having like
Yeah.
lived out here
Been
for 10 years now and just seeing like, wow, this is what people think Hollywood is. And
Yeah.
some stuff is very correct and some stuff is very wrong. So, but yeah.
Well, thank you so much for putting in the time again.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we
Thank you for
appreciate
having
appreciate
me.
it.
We appreciate it. And thank you so much for doing the show. It's such a delight.
Sure.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
Podcast The Ride comes out every Friday. It's a comedy theme park about podcasts hosted by three childless men in their 30s.
Comedy
myself.
theme park about podcasts.
Oh, wait. A comedy. It's a comedy theme park podcast.
Yes.
It's a comedy podcast
It is
about
like
theme parks.
very warm in this room.
And we are losing our
it's
minds.
very warm.
The fact that we are still speaking English is amazing.
Hosted
gibberish.
by myself and Scott Gardner and Mike Carlson, past guest of this show.
Also known as my
Also
boyfriend.
your boyfriend, gracefully.
It's like you guys have really blown up.
Things are going good.
Awesome.
We have a 19-part series about City Walk coming.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
In the next few, we don't have a hard
Covering
deadline.
19
19 different
sectors of City Walk. It's so funny.
We
Very
have
ambitious.
a live show soon when is this coming out?
Next week.
Next week.
Next week. Okay. Hopefully it'll be announced by then, but Podcast The Ride live soon. I don't have the website yet. It hasn't, like, it's not officially up yet.
We'll do this. If you guys aren't allowed to say anything yet, we'll cut it out. But,
okay.
What you could say is just like tune into Podcast The Ride, where we will be announcing our live show.
We will be announcing our live show.
Hang on.
Oh, yes. Tune into Podcast The Ride. Follow us on Podcast The Ride. We mostly post on Twitter, but we also have a lovely Facebook group that is growing and Podcast The Ride on Instagram. And we will have official live show announcements very soon with a insane guest that we kind of can't believe.
Awesome.
Woohoo!
Woohoo.
Thank you again. If next week we are reading the new Fear Street book from R.L. Stine.
Yes.
There's a new one?
It covers
He's writing them
beautiful.
again, and it's a
Wow.
return to the illustrated covers of its heyday.
Oh, great.
It's gorgeous. I'll show you after we're done recording, but it's called You May Now Kill the Bride. It is coming
Great
out
name.
Yeah.
July. I think we're releasing it either the day it's coming out or the
So are you saying you got
after. I
you got a
believe
perk?
it
You
is
got an
coming
early
out
copy?
July 25th.
Yeah, we got advance copy.
Yeah, a
Wow.
listener got us an advance copy. So we will be releasing it, I think, the week it comes out. I forget. Anyway, that's what we're reading next episode. So go on Amazon, pre-order the book if you want to have read it beforehand.
It looks great.
It is beautiful.
Beautiful.
Very excited about it.
Thank you so much to our Patreon listeners. It's not without you that we can't. I am
We're all
physically.
very
Same
damp.
thing in the last episode.
I know. I'm
Here,
physically very
let me-
ill right now.
I'll take it from
Okay.
here. Okay. Thank you so much to our Patreon subscribers who help make the show possible. We really appreciate it, but also thank you to everybody. If you would like to follow the podcast on social media, we are at Teen Creeps Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can join our newly open to the public Facebook group. Thank you to our listener who started that quite a while ago, who was kind enough to open it up. Thank you so much for listening. Find our reading schedule at teencreepspod.com. See you next week. Keep it creepy.
Forever Dog.
This has been a Forever Dog production. Executive produced by Kelly Nugent, Lindsay Katai, Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey. For more original podcasts, please visit foreverdogpodcasts.com and subscribe to our shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Keep up with the latest Forever Dog news by following us on Twitter and Instagram @ForeverDogTeam and liking our page on Facebook.